12 transmission lines, at least 26 residential lines have been damaged or destroyed in the Monroe Canyon Fire. We showed you last week how the power company Garkane Energy Cooperative rushed large generators, some of which were from the Salt Lake area, when the entirety of Wayne County lost power. The quick and celebrated fix was temporary, but we wanted to know what it would take for the company to get residents a permanent solution.
I've been here like 12 years now.
So in the last 12 years, have you had a Monroe Canyon fire before the Monroe Canyon Fire?
Not quite, nothing this big and nothing that we've had fires that took out like residential power lines, but nothing on a main transmission that's going to affect 3,000 people like the Monroe fire did.
How do you describe the last couple of weeks for you and your team? I mean, it seems like just when things maybe started looking good, then the fire decided to do something else. And then you've been very active on social media, sharing kind of the progress of where things are at. But when you look back at the last 2.5 weeks or so, how do you just describe what this has been like for you and your team?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, for about a week, we were watching it closely. We kind of thought we were in the clear. We did try to communicate pretty proactively to tell the members, be prepared in case this fire switches. And so we were kind of glad that our communications team prepped him that way. And then all of a sudden it did switch. And next thing you know, the fire's right on the lines, and hurrying, getting messages out that power could be out for quite a while. I think the hardest part about fires is we want to respect the fire officials and the fire crews and do what they think is safe, so everyone's safe, but then also worried about power. So it's kind of a double-edged sword that we don't want to cause any more problem with electricity for the fires, but we want to keep the power on as much as we can.
When you look at what this fire did to your infrastructure, what did it do?
Yeah, so we had a meeting this morning. So it damaged 12 of our transmission line poles. But then even on top of the Monroe Mountain, we have there's cabins and stuff, and those are more residential lines, but I think that damaged almost like 26 additional poles that we can't even get to. And I know we feel bad for the cabin owners that lost cabins and stuff. And so that'll be another project after we get clearance to go up there to replace those lines that feed the cabins. So on top of the transmission, there was a lot of residential damage as well. Initially, we thought it was going to be more transmission poles, so we're kind of lucky that it was just those 12 structures or whatever.
Getting those generators, how crucial was that mid to late last week for you?
Yeah, that was huge. That's going to be just as big a project as replacing those poles to try to get those in place. And I'm not an engineer, but to try to match the voltage with a generator and hook it up to the substation so it matches the line. But CAT was really good. We had 4 of our own, and they lent us 2. So we'd have enough to cover that whole load. But that's going to be a big project tomorrow to try to match up all the loads in the different areas. And generators can be finicky. You never know how they're going to react. And so tomorrow will be a big day to see if we can get those online when we cut power to the whole transmission.
Can you describe what happens tomorrow? And is this a temporary thing that happens tomorrow, or is this a fuller long-term fix? How do you describe that?
Yeah, so tomorrow morning we'll have, we're going to probably have 50 employees working. So we'll have half of them working on the structures to repair there once we cut the transmission, the power. And then the other half will have probably 20, 30 employees. Right when they cut power to the transmission, they'll all start hooking up the generators and bringing those loads on. And so the idea is to have those generators help serve that load while the poles are getting fixed. And the crews will probably work I'm guessing through the night to get the poles ready, so we don't have to rely on the generators as long. So as soon as all those poles are fixed and we're able to hook that back up, which I'm guessing it'll be into Thursday, um, before that happens, and then we got to cut power to the generators and then swing it back to the main transmission, and then that will be a permanent fix.
This is a big undertaking. Has your crew ever done anything of this magnitude so quickly?
Oh no, definitely not. Nothing like this that requires generator work and then transmission work simultaneously at the same time. Um, so yeah, nothing like this. The Monroe fire was interesting, where it's like it's going for a week. It looks like it's just staying on the mountain, and then it jumped and went. So I think our crews were prepared, and communication wise, we had, like you said, Facebook. Not everyone's on Facebook, but we'd got our kind of outage notification system up and running right before that. So we were able to send like automated voice messages as well as emails on top of Facebook. So I hope most people got the messages between those three ways, and we're in the process of getting a texting service as well. So I'm always looking to just find all avenues to communicate.
So far, the plan goes as follows: starting repairs and rebuilds tomorrow at 6 a.m., while those affected use generators that are already in place. Garkane says those in affected areas should expect power bumps and temporary outages. They're asking that customers reduce power outage and usage tomorrow and Thursday by turning off unnecessary appliances and equipment. The lighter the load, they say, the smoother the connections. If you need more information, I just published an article on our website. They'll be using this Facebook page for updates throughout the process. They've done a really good job. We're very complimentary, I believe, about the communication that Garkane has done with a lot of people in the area, and everyone that I spoke to late last week seemed pretty informed about the status of what's going on with power in the area due to the Monroe Canyon Fire.